The rift has been with us for 2,000 years. No one knows why or how. We have only learned to live with it. After recovering from centuries of undone progress, human society has stabilized. A second industrial era has dawned across the world, now joined by two new subsets of human. The altered, men and women living with rift beasts inside them, and the riftborn, whose gifts are still not understood. And I, Malin Farrow, have the dubious fortune of being both. Before Father died, I knew what Eleison would look like. I even somehow absorbed some impression of his ways, although the vision I received of him was infinity compounded into a moment. Let me explain. I was nearly 15, and the village of Lascaux seemed as ill-fit for me as a fishbowl for a trout. Most adults treated me like a child. Others had begun to speak to me with a discourtesy they never had, expecting more of me than I could accomplish. Still others, men especially, had begun to study me in manners I found uncomfortable, or, when my father wasn't around, to praise or criticize my appearance in ways that were out of line. In my environment, as in myself, I became aware of an intense battle between two energies. One drove me to stay home, where life was peaceful and quiet, and where the innocent joys of childhood could still be kindled up like a fire. But the other energy wished to break free, to abandon everything of that innocent childhood, to leap into the strange parallel reality of adults. Somehow, the circus captured both. Nothing was more thrilling than its arrival each autumn. Occasionally, a musician would wander through Lascaux's crooked paths, and salesmen or merchants of various kinds were always making rounds for regular matters of trade. The circus, though, it came only once a year, and it held such wild intrigue to us all, for better or for worse. As soon as the drums echoed out from the distance, metal window shutters rolled high, and the glass panes beneath were thrown wide. Old women who had been lounging on their porches to savor a few moments of safe sunshine, with visible disgust for the encroaching troop that was doubtless packed with unregistered riftborn, would collect their embroidery and scurry inside. My half-sister and I, screaming with delight, would fling ourselves up from games or chores or quarrels or lessons, and scurry into the street without so much as a glance at the RMS readout glowing on the wall. What colors! Lascaux was gray, from its streets to its sky, but when the circus came to town, all that changed. Our hands shielding our eyes, we peered down the long road sloping outside our gate, each of us bobbing up and down on our toes. The fanfare grew, with distant neighbors in the outskirts region, a borough even poorer than ours, sad to say, letting up wild cheers and enthusiastic applause. The beating in my heart matched the drum's pump for pump. Some small part of me envied the destitute children who had the special privilege of clapping eyes on the circus before anyone else. Our turn, however, came soon enough. The timpani increased in clarity, luring more smiling neighbors into their gardens. Sable squealed with delight that increased mine. I held my breath, my focus narrowing to the distant corner of our street. There, red, white, and gold, a flashing banner, the cracking of drums, the screams of delight that signaled the pursuing slum children. Like an overdue river smashing a dam, the circus procession surged into our street and toward the center of the town. What madness! What delight! We squealed together, our neighbors clapping and crying out in nostalgic joy.